Right, hello and good afternoon, everyone. We'll be getting started in about a minute or two just to allow everyone to join in. All right, for those still joining in, hello and good afternoon and welcome. We're going to get started in about one more minute at 1:03 just to allow everybody to get in. There's still plenty of people coming in right now, so we want to make sure that everybody's in here before we get started. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to be going over Microsoft Planner today. So we are in a Teams meeting right now. So since we're in a Teams meeting, you do have some options available to you. You do have this meeting controls bar that's right in the middle of my screen here. This little bubble right here is your chat section. So if you click on that, it will open up your chat section on the right-hand side. And from there, you'll be able to send in any questions that you have or any comments that you want to make. The button next to that is the raise your hand feature, or it'll be your reactions button is what it says on it. When you click on that, it opens it up and there will be a hand that looks like that hand that's right there. That's the raise your hand feature. So during the question breaks that we take, if you have any questions that you want to actually come off mute for, you can raise your hand using that raise your hand feature, and then we'll be able to get your questions answered out loud. You do have 3 dots as well. So in those 3 dots are any more options that you have inside of the meeting. So if you do need live captions, you can turn those live captions on inside of there. The live captions learn as we go. So it'll learn how I speak as we go farther and farther into the hour. So if it's not so good at the beginning, it will definitely get better as we go along. You don't really need your camera for this to save bandwidth. It's easier to turn your camera off, so you can have the cameras off using that button right there. And then the button next to that is your microphone button. So you can mute and unmute the session as we go. Keep yourself muted though while we are going through any of the content because we are recording this session for your future use. Once you're ready to leave the meeting, you would just click this big red leave button right here. It'll be in the top right most likely, unless you're using the web application, then it will be somewhere in the middle of your screen. Down at the bottom here is where it shows the chat options. So when you open up your chat section on the bottom right of this whole meeting, you'll have this chat section right here where you can actually type in your message and then send that message to us either using your enter key or using the little paper airplane right here. So my name is Allison. I am a trainer here at Microsoft. I also have Aitor with me in the background. He is the moderator for today. So any questions that we have on Planner while we're going through it, you can put those in the chat, like I said, and Aitor will be able to help you with any of that. So today's agenda is going to be navigation and functionality first. So we're going to be going over just navigating what Planner looks like. Then we're going to be going ahead and creating a plan, following that plan by adding things to it. And then any next steps, which our next steps will be showing it inside of Teams. So Planner is a powerful tool for workers to get more done intuitively, visually, and collaboratively. We really see this as a great tool for workers of all types to get organized, even without any kind of project manager. Please remember to stay muted while we're going through this. Using Planner, a team can start organizing a project or event in minutes by making use of buckets that can contain visual depictions of tasks. Planner is an amazing tool, and it's even better with teams. Connecting Planner to Teams brings easy to use team task management into the place where people are collaborating. Additionally, the Tasks app in Teams gives an overview of all your tasks across your different teams, plus the To-Do app as well. Using the charts and schedule view, it's easy to stay on track with your plan using the fast and visual insights. Let's take a closer look into arranging tasks into customizable buckets. Tasks can hold tons of information like due dates, labels, checklists, and more. And this information can be displayed on the card. These cards can be dropped into different buckets for better organization. Tasks in Teams brings all your individual tasks from To-Do and team tasks from Planner into one view. It gives a great bird's eye view into everything you need to accomplish and can easily route you to any of the plans you need to see. Notifications to mobile, Teams, and email can keep you on track. Plus, when you need to, you can dive into the schedule view to see a calendar view of the whole plan. The charts view also gives a great way to understand the status of your tasks. The charts display tasks by status, bucket, task priority, or team member. You can click into the charts to apply filters and get an even better sliced view of the data. So everything I'm just talking about now, we're actually going to go into and go into a little more depth so that we can really see it ourselves. So we're going to start from office.com. Just as a mention, there is no Planner application specifically, like a desktop application. So you do use Planner using office.com as a way to get to it. So you would go to office.com, you'd log into your work credentials, and then from there you would be able to get to Planner. So right now we're just on our homepage for Office. To get to all of your applications that are included with your work account, you'll go to the top left. It's your app launcher. So it's a little waffle menu is what it looks like. When you click on that, it'll open up and show you more applications right here. We can see that Planner is right there. But if you don't see Planner in this list right here, you can also click the All Apps button right here. And it'll put it into an alphabetical order, all of the applications that are available to you through your organization. So we'll go to Planner. When we click on that, it's going to open it up. So the website for Planner itself is tasks.office.com. So you can see it up in the address bar up here. Tasks.office.com is your Planner website. So this is your homepage for Planner. Everything is right out in front of you to see. I'll go ahead and start with nothing there. So on the top left, we're just going to go over pretty much everything we see on the screen right now. So in the top left over here, we have our new plan button, which is obviously to create a new plan. So any type of plan you'd need to make, whether it be for an event or anything like that, you would click the new plan button and you would name your plan, all of this. We're going to go into that shortly, but that's how you would create your new plan. The button under that is the hub button. So that is your home button right there. So the home button is going to take you back. So if I go to a different page, say I go to my project launch event page here, if I want to get back to my home page, I just click the hub button right there, and it'll bring me back to that home page. Increase the size of your display. I can zoom in a little bit. Does that help? All right. I zoomed in a little bit, so hopefully that helps a little bit. The button underneath the hub button right here is the assign to me button. So this is all of the tasks that are assigned to you. So any plan that you're a part of, you can see that this says all right here. So this is showing me all the different plans that I'm a part of. Planner is a place for task management. It's a place for delegating tasks out to your teams, to get through events or get through projects, anything that you're working on, or just daily tasks that you do. So the assign to me section is going to show me all of my tasks assigned to me throughout all of the different plans that I'm a part of here. So it shows us 3 different columns. So I have my not started column right here. So these are all the tasks that I don't have started yet. I haven't looked at any of them yet. I haven't started working on them yet. These ones are marked as in progress. So this column is all marked as in progress here. You have the ability to mark tasks as in progress. So that's why it has the in progress option right here. We'll go into that as well. And then you have the completed section here. So this shows me all of my completed tasks. So if you're looking for your specific tasks for the day or your specific tasks in general, using the assign to me button is probably the best way to see all those tasks so that you can stay on track with all your different plans that you might be a part of. So this is where you go to see that. It's showing me in a board view right now. So we have our columns. These are our different buckets here. There's also a chart view as well. So the chart view is just going to show us our same tasks that we were just looking at, which are over here on the right-hand side now. It's showing us in different charts instead. So it's just a different way of kind of looking at all the tasks that are assigned to you. We're going to go into this a little later when we create our own plan. And then there's also a schedule view as well. So that just shows you the calendar view we were talking about in the beginning. So the assign to me section, like I said, is probably most useful for you to get a good look at all of your own specific tasks. So these ones you're assigned to. It doesn't mean that you're the only one that's assigned to them. It just means that you are also assigned to them. So you can see that there's little icons on our tasks. You can see that my picture is here. This is my picture in the top over here. My name is Miriam. It's a demonstration account named Miriam. And then I also have not only myself, but Christy is also assigned to this task here, as well as Joanna is assigned to this one. So it shows me the ones that I am assigned to specifically, as well as ones that I am sharing the task with. So we'll go back to our hub. Underneath those buttons, like I said, we have our all section here, as well as our pin section. So you do have the option to pin your plans. If you have specific plans that you use most frequently, or plans that are the most useful to you, you can pin those ones so that they show up at the top right here. So let's say that my product launch event that I'm a part of right here, maybe that one I use pretty frequently. I can go ahead and click the 3 dots and select pin. It pins it on the left-hand side over here above all of my plans, and it also pins it at the top of the middle of my screen here. So this middle of our screen shows us our pinned up at the top. So you can see it gives me that chart view that we were just looking at before. So it's just an overview of my all the tasks that are in this plan specifically. So we have 6 late plans, those are red. We have 11 completed plans. We also have 1 not started plan, or 1 not started task, completed tasks, late tasks here. So it just shows you a brief overview of your plan so that you know what's going on in it. So if it's the most used plan of yours or the most frequently used plan of yours, putting it as a pinned one here will help you to keep track of it a little better. Underneath your pinned plans, you have your recent ones. So these are pretty much the same view as the all that's over here, except this shows you the ones that have been most recently clicked on by myself. So I recently clicked on Wilmington University plan here, my Mark 8 project plan, the finances plan for Kyndryl. So it shows you just in the order that you most recently used them. There's also an all button here as well. So the all button will go ahead and show you in an alphabetical view all of the plans that you're a part of. So you can see I'm a ton of way too many plans here, but that's what the use of the pin section is for. When you have all these plans that you're a part of, maybe you don't use all of them, maybe you've just been added to a bunch of them. It's easy to put them in the pin section up here so that you can really keep track of them. I'll go ahead and pin 1 more. So now we've got 2 pinned plans up here. You can pin multiple. It doesn't just have to be 1 or 2. I can take another one if I want to and pin it up here. It all depends on how many you're using most frequently, how many you really want to be pinned up here. So now that we went through everything we see on this home screen here, what we're going to do is take a look at a plan. So we're just going to take a look at an already made plan just so that we can get a good view of what's going on in it. So I'll go ahead and click on this demo planner that I have pinned right here. You can see that this is what it looks like. It puts it in that board view for us. You can see I have a background on here. You can see it also shows me all the people that are in the plan up at the top here. These are icons of people in the plan. Plus 15 means that there's 15 more people that are in the plan as well. There's also a members button here. So the members button is going to show us everybody that's in it. You can also see that it says linked plan next to the name of the plan right here. So linked plan means that it is connected to a SharePoint site or a team site. So you do have the ability to connect it to a team site. So if you do plan on using it in Teams, you do have to connect it to that team site first. You cannot do it later on. So that's just something to point out. If you plan on using this with a team that you already have made on Teams, you do have to connect it to that team when you create it, which we're going to go over in 1 second. But you do have to have it connected, but when it says linked plan, it lets you know that it is already linked to a team site there. So it's linked to our sales and marketing team here. If I click on this, it's going to open up the SharePoint and it's going to show me it inside of the SharePoint site, which is the back end of your team. That's all that would do, but that was just something to point out there. There's also a little I for information. If I click on that, it just lets me know that it is a public team. So anyone in the organization can see the plan content. So you can make public plans as well as private plans. So this means that if you sent a link to this plan to somebody, if you shared it out to somebody that's not a part of it, they would be able to see everything inside the plan as a public plan. So this is just a good view of what a plan looks like already made here. We've got some to-do tasks. This is our to-do bucket here. We have our meeting bucket as well, our reports bucket, and then our sales bucket here. So the buckets, as you can see, can be categorized into different topics, really. So your to-do would obviously be the to-do things, the things that you got to do. Your meetings would be any meetings that you have or any meetings that you need to set up. Reports would be any gather end of July reporting here. So any reports, and then also sales would be anything to do with sales. So you can really kind of categorize it into these different buckets to kind of organize it better. This is the default view that you get when you first open your plan. Obviously, there's the chart and schedule view that we were looking at before. So in our chart view here is all of our different charts that I pointed out before. So it gives you the status option here. So this is the one that it shows on your pins in your hub, in your home. It just shows you that brief overview there. The bucket option here, it shows you the different buckets at the bottom. So we have our 4 different buckets that I just went over, and then it tells you how many tasks are in it. And then it uses the color coding to let you know which ones aren't started, which ones are late, and then which ones are completed. If any were in progress, it would show us a blue option. So if I go back into my board here and I mark one as in progress, or let me change the date on this one so that it's actually in date. This one here. Oh, this is a year out of date. Excuse me. There we go. It's marked as in progress. If I go into my chart now, you can see there's a blue one as well. So blue is the in progress color there. We have our priority as well, because you can set priority on your different tasks. So urgent, important, medium, and low priority. So all depends on how important your tasks are, when they need to be done, how urgently they need to be done, how important they are overall, or if they're just regular tasks, it would just be medium. If they're not really of any priority whatsoever, you can mark them as low, just to let the ones who are going to be doing that task know that it's not really that important. And then underneath those charts, we have our last chart, which is our members. So the members will show us on the left side each member of this plan, and then what tasks, once again, color coding, what tasks need to be done, or how many tasks need to be done, or how many are assigned to each of the different people on the plan. So this is our chart view. And then the schedule view, once again, gives us that calendar view. So we have something that is in progress and due on September 16th. So we can see it right here on September 16th. If I click on it, it opens up the task and it gives me a good view of what needs to be done for it, and anything that you could fill in for that specific task. We also can see that on the 7th of next month, we have a task that goes on for more than one day. So if I go into October here, you can see that we have a quick sync that goes from the 7th all the way to the 12th here. So that means that it has a start date, which is the 7th, and an end date, which is the 12th here. So you can set ones to go for an extended period of time, to kind of say here, you should probably start working on this on the 7th here. And then you should also probably be finished with it. It's due on the 12th there. So that's how the schedule view works pretty much. It works in kind of the same way that any of the other ones do. You can open up the tasks from here. It just gives you that that monthly view. You also have a weekly view as well. So I could change it to week. Project syncs are all late as of Monday. We can go over to that 16th one. So if I had multiple due, obviously it would show me multiple on these. You can also add in more tasks using the plus. So it all depends on how you like viewing your plan, which way you would really be looking at it. The default view is always going to be the board view though. So it's always going to put you into this board view here. So this is really just what a made plan looks like. Now we're going to go ahead and create our own plan. Before we do that, though, I just want to ask Aitor, do we have any questions that I can answer?
We do, Allison. First of all, is it possible to set up recurring tasks? Let me answer this one myself. We are working on it. This is a feature that's going to be rolled out very soon. And the second question is, when attached to the teams, is it possible to make it visible to only some team members, or all team members will be able to see the plan?
So when it is attached to a team, it is is it possible to make it visible to only one team members or
Mhm.
all team members? So it will be available to all of the people on the team. So everybody that's on the team on Teams will be able to see that plan. Whether or not they go into it is up to them, but they have access to it. So that's what I was talking about with the linked part here, where it says linked, it's linked to my sales and marketing team. So that means that all of these people here, all of the members are part of my sales and marketing team. So they'd all have access to the plan. They'd all be able to see the plan specifically. They obviously wouldn't be able to see all the plans that I'm a part of. They would just be able to see all the plans that they're a part of.
Great. Thank you, Allison. That is all that we have in the chat for now. I just want to remind the audience that the chat is a perfect way to post your questions in advance. And we just got a last minute question, Allison. Can it be attached to a specific channel or does it have to be linked to the larger team?
So it does get linked to the larger team. It's not any specific channel. You can add the plan into a specific channel. It can be added into public channels on Teams, not private ones. But you would be able to put it into a specific channel, but it would be linked to the entire team.
Thanks for that, Allison. And another last minute question. If you mark a task as in progress, will it be marked in progress for everyone the task is assigned to?
Correct. So it will be marked in progress for everyone the task is assigned to. So one thing to point out about Planner is really it's just a task management service. It's not really kind of holding anyone specific accountable unless you're the only specific person. You're the only specific person attached to that task. So how this task I have right here is only attached to Deborah here. So that means that if Deborah marked it as in progress, we're holding Deborah accountable to do what she needs to do with that task. When it comes to this task here, where I am assigned it as well as Nestor is assigned it, I marked it as in progress. It is the task itself is marked as in progress. It does say who edited it last on each card. So we're going to go into that, but it does say right under the name of the specific task, it says last changed 6 minutes ago by you. So it lets you know sort of who edited the task last. So I'm the one who marked it as in progress last. But it doesn't say much else when it comes to who marked it that way. But yeah, it's for everyone attached to that specific task. It's marked as in progress.
Great, thank you for that. And we have another question coming in. Even with the attachment to Teams, can you remove members?
So to remove members, you can go to the members drop down here. You can click the more options and you can remove them. So I could remove them from this plan if I wanted to, doing it that way.
Perfect. Now we are good to continue whenever you are ready, Allison.
Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and create our own plan, and we are going to attach it to a team. But just so you know, you don't necessarily have to attach it to a team. It will be, because you are signed in through your organization, it will be connected to your organization. So you'd still be able to add people into it, whether or not it's created or it's attached to a team. But it's good to point out that you don't have to necessarily use it with a specific team. You do have the option to keep it separate from a Microsoft 365 group. It all depends on how you're trying to use it, really. So plan name. Let's see. We're going to name it our VA Jacob plan. So our Virginia state government plan here, we're going to add it to an existing Microsoft 365 group. So that would be a specific team. So you can see from here, these are all the different teams that I'm a part of. So we do have our sales and marketing team here. Another thing to point out is that you can attach multiple plans to the same team. It doesn't just have to be one plan. So we'll go ahead and attach it to, I'm a part of so many plans. We're going to search for a group here. So we're going to attach it to my Mark 8 project team right here. You do have the option to create a new group instead. So you can create your own. It doesn't have to necessarily be attached to one that's already created. But if you do plan on using it in teams, you do, like I said, have to attach it to the team before you create the whole group. Once you create the group, so once I click create plan, if I didn't already attach it to that specific team, I won't be able to attach it to that team later. So just keep that in mind. So we're going to go ahead and click create plan. So we have our plan now. It starts out pretty blank. There's nothing in here really. You can see once again that I already have my members in here. So plus 16, we have our members. These are all the people that are part of my Mark 8 project team here. I do have the option to enter somebody else's name. So let's say I'm just gonna delete someone so I can add them back. So you would just type in their name, or you'd start typing in their name. It would find them within your organization. So I have Lydia right here. So I can go ahead and add her just like that. So that's how you would add people into your plans. So those are our members right there. We have our different views right here. To add more buckets, you can see we start out with the to-do bucket right here. To add more buckets, you would just click the add new button. You can add in as many as you want. All depends on how you plan on kind of categorizing everything. So I'm going to add in a reporting bucket right here and just click enter to start it. I'm going to add in another one for finances here. And then I'm also going to add one in for training and development. So we've got a few buckets going here, and then you can see under each of the buckets, it says add task. So you can choose which bucket you want to add it into. You can change it later. So if you do decide you don't want it to be in that bucket, you can move it to another bucket. So we'll go ahead and do this reporting one. We'll click add task. Let's see, finish Q2 reports. So that's the name of our task. So we need to finish that report. We can set a due date from right here. So I'll click set due date. It's going to be due on the 23rd of this month. We have it due in about 2 weeks. And then I can also assign it out to people from right here as well. So I would just click assign. It gives me suggestions, which at this point would be my entire set of members that I have for this plan. So I'm going to go ahead and assign it out to Nestor. I'm going to assign it to Joni as well, and then also Alex. So these 3 people, they need to finish up this Q2 report. It's important that we get this done by the 23rd here. And then once we fill it all out and everything looks good here, we just click add task. And it puts it in for us. So this task looks pretty bland. It doesn't tell us much. It just says to finish the Q2 report. You can see it has the due date on it, as well as our members that are assigned this task. It also has the little person with a plus sign to let us know we can add more people to assign it to here. Each of our tasks are called cards. So this card right here, it looks pretty blank. If we want to fill it in more, give some more information for our teammates so that they can do a real good job of finishing this up, we just click on the card and it opens it up into that bigger view where we have a lot of other stuff that we can fill in here. So we have our name. I can obviously change the name just by clicking on where I first typed it in there. We can add more people to it right here. You can also add labels as well. So if you want to label, if you want to use labels for categorizing, you also have that option as well. We can go ahead and use a red label here to edit the name of it and change it from red. We would just use the little pencil here. I can mark this as, let's see, data. we'll go ahead and put that label in there. But that's pretty much how you would use labels. You have a ton of different options for colors there. You can go ahead and edit each of them and use them in any categorizing way you want to. This is where you can actually change the bucket if we wanted to. So we have the reporting bucket that we have it in right now. We could change it over to our to-do bucket if we wanted to. So when I do that, you can see in the background over here, it actually moved my finished Q2 report over into my to-do bucket. So that's how you can move it around, really. I can move it to the training and development one. We'll leave it in that reporting one for now. But you, like I said, you can kind of move it around to, if you put it in the wrong spot, you can move it to where it would make sense. This is where you can mark the progress in this progress option right here. We have not started, in progress, and completed. So right now it's not started. We haven't really started working on finishing it up yet. If we started working on it, we can mark it as in progress. And then if we finished it, we can mark it as completed from right here, or we could click the little check mark next to the name. Or if I go back into my board, I can click the check mark next to the name on there. And when I do so, it puts it into the completed task section there. So it lets everyone know that the task has been completed right there. I can also uncheck it if it's not actually completed. You can also, to move them around, somebody just asked a question in the chat. You can also move them around in a different way. If you want to move them to a different bucket, you can click and hold and drag it over into a different bucket. That's another way of kind of moving them around. So yeah, you can do that. So after progress, we have priority. So like I said before, you can mark them with different priorities. You have important. So obviously this is a pretty important thing to finish. It's the Q2 report. If we wanted to, we can mark it as urgent. We can mark it as important as well. So I'm just going to mark it as important because it's important that this gets done. We also have the option to have a start date as well as a due date. So like I said before, Planner isn't really it doesn't really penalize people for not doing things at a specific time. It does mark things as late if they're not done by the due date, but it doesn't do much otherwise. So when it comes to the start date as well as the due date, if I put the start date as tomorrow, the people who are assigned this task, they can start working on it today, obviously. It's just really like a rough go. It's just kind of like letting them know that you could probably start it tomorrow, and then you have 2 weeks until it's due. So it's just kind of giving like a rough estimate of how long you should be working on it for. But that also depends on the task itself and what it's coming from. So maybe you have something that's opening on the 9th, so you can't actually start working on it until the 9th. You could set that start date to let them know, hey, you can start it on this date and then it'll be due in 2 weeks. So you have that start date and that due date here. Underneath, we have our notes section. So this is where you type in any notes, anything about the task specifically to kind of help them to get it done or help them know what they need to do for this task. So make sure to create an Excel sheet for this report. So you can kind of write in the notes, give them a good overview of what needs to be done. Obviously, you can type in more here. There's a little in the bottom right corner of the notes text box here. You can make it larger, so you can type in more stuff in here if you need to explain more about the task itself. Underneath, you also have a checklist as well. So for the checklist here, we can kind of give them a checklist of the order that things need to be done. So first we'd say create Excel sheet. And I just click the enter button to enter that checklist item in. Create Excel sheet, pull data from site. Add to Excel sheet. Oops. Import. So we've got 4 checklist items here. These checklist items, we have them in this order right here. You can see along the left side next to the check boxes for these items, you can see these little dots. If I click and hold on those little dots, I can actually drag them into another order. So if I wanted them to be in another order, maybe I put them in wrong, I can move them into another order. On the right-hand side of each of the tasks, you can see that there's a little trash can to remove the checklist item. So that'll just delete it from here. So maybe I don't need this complete Excel sheet one because that's pretty much the entire point of the task. And then you also have this little arrow. So this little arrow lets us know that we can actually make this into a new task from this task here. So you can't make subtasks or anything like that on Planner. Like I said, this is really just kind of a task keeping service. It's not really like Microsoft Project or anything like that, where that's more in detail. It's a little more basic than that. So what you can do is make these checklist items into their own tasks if you feel it's necessary. So maybe we want one of these specific people that are part of this task to create the Excel sheet. I can go ahead and make this a new task. If I go back into my board back here, we can see create Excel sheet got made into its own task. And I can go ahead and assign it to someone specific. So maybe I want Joni to specifically make the Excel sheet for this. I can do that so that she can go ahead and make that for us. And then she can complete it to let us know it's done. And then we'll have the pull data from site and import to Excel sheet right there. So you can kind of create tasks out of the task, but like I said, there's no subtask. So if I complete this task, it doesn't open up a new task or anything like that. So you have your checklist items. If I check them off, it kind of gives you a little loading bar here to let you know how far along you are with everything. And then once it's done, it kind of gives a little animation that you hit the end of the bar there to let you know that you've completed your checklist items. And then under that, we have attachments. So say that we had Joni go ahead and create the Excel sheet. We can have her attach that Excel sheet into here. We can attach it from the computer. We can attach it from our Teams files. So this will go into Teams, into our Teams files here. This is all of the channels in my Mark 8 project team that this is attached to. It's our file section pretty much. So it's from the SharePoint site that backs your team, but it shows you the different channels with these folders here. And then it also shows you any other files that are part of the site. So any other files that are included with it. So I could go ahead and look through these and find the specific file I'm looking for from here. I can also do a link to a URL. So if I want to attach a website, I can do so as well. So I can do www.bing.com and I can just say Bing, click add, and it'll go ahead and add it as an attachment here. I can also add, like I said, from the computer. This will go into my file section where I can go ahead and choose a specific file. I'll choose this Excel file here, and we'll go ahead and put our campaign sales data in here. So we filled in a lot of our stuff on this task now. We have our comments as well down here. So I think that the comments are very useful. It's a very useful tool. So anybody who comes in here, like I said before, it doesn't just have to be the people who are assigned this task. Anybody who's a part of this plan can come into each of the individual tasks and they can edit them. They can add things to them, delete things from them. They can complete the tasks. It doesn't really stop anyone from doing anything specific. So everybody is pretty much an owner and editor of your plan. So far, there's not a option to make members versus owners. So it would just kind of be anybody's game to do anything with these. So it just goes based on everybody's trust, sort of. So you do have the comments option available on your different tasks. So if you've been working on it, so say that Nestor came in here and he pulled the data from the site. He can check that off there. He can also say in the comment section, pulled data from site and put into Excel file. And I can send that comment. So you can see next to the comments that are put in, it tells you the date and the time. So it lets us know exactly when Nestor did that, or when I put on this comment. It lets you know exactly when it was put in, so that you can kind of keep track of what's going on with the task itself. So to the person who asked earlier, does it mark it as in progress for everyone? It does, but in that case, you do have the option, obviously, to leave comments down here to kind of say, hey, we started working on this, or say, I started working on this, let's get going. You could put that in there so that others know when or what day and what time you started working on it and marked it as in progress. So we've got everything filled out on this task here. So if I go back into my board, you can see it's a little more filled in now. It looks a little, it looks like it's got a little more information going on it. It was marked as important, so it's got the little exclamation point. The little comment bubble lets us know that it has comments on it. The little paper clip lets us know that there's 2 attachments, and then the checklist items right here, it also shows them here. It shows the incompleted ones here, I should say. And then also it marks it down here. 1 of 2 checklist items are completed. It shows you the checklist items here. You do have the option to show other things as well on your card. So if I go back into it, you can see right now it says show on card next to checklist here. I do have the option to choose my notes section instead. You can only have 1 showing at a time. So you do have the option to show the notes section instead. So now it shows my notes section here. And then I can also choose attachments. So if I chose my Excel attachment here, it'll give you a little, there's not much on this Excel sheet. It looks like it's in like the top left over there. You can't really see it, but it'll give you a preview of what the sheet looks like. I can also choose the website if I wanted to, and it would give you a preview of the website as well. So you can kind of fill it in more, make it look nice, customize it to your liking. And then you can obviously add in more tasks from here. It kind of gives you the option to add in pretty much unlimited amount of tasks in here. Other options we have for filtering, besides what I went over before with the labels, you do have other filtering ways as well. So in the top right over here, we have our filter button. So you can filter it by due date. So I can say it's due, or I can say I want to filter by what's due next week. It's not going to show me anything. Future, it's still going to show me that one. But you can filter it that way, as well as through priorities, as well as progress and labels. We only have the 1 label going, but obviously if you had a lot more, you'd be able to filter it that way, as well as by buckets, and then who it's assigned to as well. So you can filter it all these different ways. You can also filter by keyword by typing in the keyword here. And then next to that, you have the group by bucket option as well. So, or the group by button, I should say. So the group by option over here, right now it's group by bucket. That's your default view. You can also group it by who it's assigned to. So these are people on our team right now that have myself. And then we have these people who have been assigned a task. So it puts that same task into each of their buckets, since they're all assigned that same task. But obviously, if you had a lot of people assigned a lot of different tasks, you'd be able to kind of see each individual person in a bucket, and you'd be able to go ahead and look at the tasks that they have. And then you can do the same for progress, due date, labels, and priority here. So these are all the different filtering options, or the different ways that you can look at your board here. Some more settings that we have are in these 3 dots on each of your plans. So in these 3 dots here, you have a conversation. The conversation is going to take us into Outlook. It's going to take us into the email that's attached to this Microsoft 365 group. The members would be that member section there. The files section would be the SharePoint that has all the files, as well as the notebook that's attached to the SharePoint, the OneNote notebook. Sites, it would take you to that SharePoint site. Pin is how you can pin it. So if I wanted to pin this, now it's up in my pin section here where I am going to be able to see it better. You can also copy your plan. So if you wanted to copy the plan, you could copy specific parts of your plan. So I can copy it to a group here. I can create a new group to copy this plan to, or I can choose a different team. I would also be able to include, like I said, specific parts. So if I just wanted maybe the labels to come over or the dates to come over, I could choose just those things. I can choose my leadership team here, and I can copy the plan over to there so that it's available not only on this plan, but it'll be copied onto my leadership team. And you can see that the name of it is copy of my plan. So it's not going to be the same exact thing. Obviously, it would be controlled by whoever's controlling it on that team. If it's myself, obviously, then it would sort of be the same thing. But this is just to kind of give you like a template of a plan that you already created. You can put it into another team if you wanted to. You can also export plan to Excel. So you can export all the data from your plan onto Excel so that you can do, you can put it on Power BI and things like that. You can also copy a link to the plan if you want others to be able to see it. So this would just give me a link copy to clipboard, and I'd be able to paste it out and give it to whoever I want to. The plan settings is where you're actually going to be able to change the background. So I could put on a different background here if I wanted to. I can change it there. This is also where I can change the name of my plan as well as delete the plan. So at the bottom here, I can actually delete this plan if I wanted to. This is just our general tab in our settings that we're looking at. The next tab is our group, which is the Microsoft 365 group. So this stuff will stay the same for you. You can change the public and private privacy of this if you wanted to. So only members I add can see plan content. So that means for private, it would be only the people that are part of this would be able to see it. But if you want to share it out to others, you'd want to keep it as public there. And then notifications. So you do get email notifications if you keep it this way. So you can see right now, these are the default notification settings for Planner. So an email is always sent to the group when a comment is made on a task. So that means that everybody that's a part of this plan will get an email sent when a comment is made on a task. So it kind of keeps everybody up to date in that way. You can also check this box to send an email to the group when a task is assigned or completed. So that means that when any task is assigned or any task is completed, not one specific to you, it would just be for any task assigned or any task completed. And then down here, you have the notifications for yourself specifically. So right now it's someone assigns a task to me. It'll be sent to email and mobile push, which is for the mobile application for Planner. So if you do plan on using it on your phone, there is a Planner application. You just look up Planner in your app store and it'll be in there. But you can get notifications for when someone assigns a task to you specifically, and when a task is assigned to you is late, due today, or due in the next 7 days, and that's through email. So that'll help you kind of keep yourself on track for what's late or what's due today or due in the next 7 days. So that's all of the settings for everything there. You also have the option at the bottom here to add the plan to your Outlook calendar if you want to. So if you want these tasks to show up on your Outlook calendar, you would just do that from here. And then also leave plan. So you have the option to leave your plan as well. So before I show Planner inside of Teams, I just want to stop to see if we have any questions that I can answer.
Hey, Allison, we have no questions right now in the chat. However, I want to remind the audience that the chat is the perfect way to post your questions in advance. We will probably be stopping for Q&A before the end of the session. So if you want to post your questions now, we would really appreciate that. Allison, we are good to continue.
All right. So the last thing we're going to go over is looking at this inside of Teams. So we're going to go into the Teams desktop application. I already have it open. So right now we're inside of our Mark 8 project team on Teams here. So I can go ahead and actually add this like we talked about before. I can add it to my team. Right now I'm not going to see it on Teams, obviously, because I didn't actually add the plan onto here. So I'm not going to be able to see it. But if I wanted to, I could go ahead and click on the top over here to add a tab to my channels. I'm actually going to add it to a different channel. There's a lot of tabs on there. So I'll add it to my, actually, do we have a reporting one I can add it to? No, I can add it to the finances one. So in this finances channel, I can click the plus sign. Oh, I can click the plus sign. And I can actually add planner in as a tab. So this way it'll be available right inside of my channel here. Let's see, planner, task by planner and to do. So inside of Teams, it's called task by planner and to do because it combines your planner tasks and your to do tasks into one place because they're pretty similar. So we're going to go ahead and use an existing plan from this team. You can create a new plan inside of Teams if you wanted to. I would turn out the same way where the members would be the members that are a part of that team already. It would be the same type of thing, except you'd make it inside of Teams. So we use an existing plan from this team, VA State Gov plan right here, and click Save. It's going to post it in the Post tab there to let everybody know I made a new tab. And then you can see it's available now from the tabs in our finances channel here on our Mark 8 project team. So it looks pretty identical. The background that I picked is not going to show up here, but you can still add tasks in, do everything that you were pretty much doing before. Any of the settings we were going over would not be available through Teams. You'd have to go onto the planner website to do those, but everything with adding tasks and the stuff inside them, you'd be able to do that from here. And then another part of Teams and Planner integration here is that there's actually the app itself that you can use. So there on the left-hand side are our three dots. If you've never used Planner on Teams before, you're going to want to click the More Apps, or you're going to want to click the apps down here. And you're going to want to search for Tasks by Planner and To Do. So you just type in tasks, and it's going to give you the apps right here. So you have Tasks by Planner and To Do. You're going to want to add it. And then you'll be able to open it up on the left-hand tab over here. So this is how you can see all of your different tasks from all your different plans in one spot. So you can actually pin this app on the left-hand side over here, along with your other apps, or your other tabs over here, I should say. You can right click on it and just pin it, and then it'll keep it on the side for you. But this is how you'd see any of your tasks in To Do, as well as all of the ones that are assigned to you inside of any of the teams that you're a part of. So it shows you the source. So it tells you which team they're coming from here, or which plan they're coming from here. And then it tells you the teams if they're already attached to specific channels. So you can see that this one's in the general channel of my finances plan for Kyndryl. It also tells you right here when you hover over the icon, it tells you which team it's on. But it's just a it's like a list view, I would say, of all of the different tasks that you're assigned to. And you can look at them the same way. So if I click on any book car service for airport here, it's going to open it up the same way that it opens it up in Planner. And I'll be able to do what I need to do from here. It's assigned to me specifically, so I can go ahead and add in stuff. I can go ahead and mark it as in progress because I'm currently working on it. But that's pretty much it for everything inside of here. Another good thing to point out is that if you are using Planner on Teams like this, or inside of a channel, anything like that, it does send you notifications on Teams when you're assigned a task. So I think that that's a very useful thing. So anytime you're assigned a task, it's going to show up in your activity feed on the top left over here, it's going to say you've been assigned a task, or it's going to say so-and-so assigned you a task. You could click on it and it'll open it up into that card view here, and you'll be able to see it. But other than that, that's pretty much everything that we have to go over today. So I'm going to stop and I'm going to ask one last time, do we have any questions, Aitor, that I can answer?
We don't have any last minute questions, so we are good to close the session, Allison.
All right. So that's it. I just want to thank you all for coming out. I hope that this was a useful training on Planner. I really enjoy using Planner a lot, so hopefully you do too. If you do have any questions on Planner specifically, on the Planner website in the top right, there's a question mark. If you click on that question mark, it's a help section. So you can kind of go through the featured help here, use Planner in Teams, delete a task or plan. You have little topics here. You can also use the search bar to search for anything specific you're looking for, but it'll give you kind of a video or a step-by-step on how to do whatever you're trying to do. So definitely take advantage of that there. But other than that, we hope you enjoyed this training and we hope to see you in the next one. Thank you all for coming out.